Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a wealthy merchant who had 3 daughters. The eldest 2 were proud and selfish, always demanding fine dresses, glittering jewels, and every luxury their father could buy. But the youngest daughter, whose name was Beauty, was gentle and kind. She asked for nothing more than books to read, songs to sing, and gardens filled with flowers. Though her sisters often mocked her, the townsfolk admired Beauty for her humble heart and quiet grace. For many years the family lived in comfort. But fate is not always kind. One stormy night, the merchant lost his ships at sea. His fortune vanished in a single breath of the waves. From that day forward, he and his daughters were forced to leave their grand home and move into a simple country cottage. The 2 elder sisters complained bitterly, but Beauty, with her cheerful spirit, soothed her father's sorrow. She swept the hearth, tended the garden, and sang to bring light to their humble dwelling. She asked for nothing but her father's happiness. One winter's day, word came that one of the merchant's ships had returned to harbor. Hope sprang in his heart, and he set off to reclaim what he could. Before leaving, he asked each daughter what gift they desired if fortune smiled upon him. "Bring me silks and jewels," demanded the eldest. "A necklace of pearls," cried the second. But Beauty, with her quiet smile, said only, "Father, bring me a single rose." "For none grow in this harsh winter," the merchant promised, and with that, he rode away. Yet when he reached the harbor, he discovered his ship had been plundered. Penniless and weary, he set out for home through a dark forest. Snow fell heavily, and soon he lost his way. Hours passed until, at last, a great iron gate loomed before him. He pushed it open and found himself in a magnificent garden, glowing with light though the world outside lay frozen. The merchant, astonished, wandered inside and found a palace of breathtaking beauty. Though no servant appeared, he discovered a table laden with food and wine, a fire burning warmly, and a bed prepared for him. Grateful, he rested there. The next morning, as the merchant prepared to leave, he remembered Beauty's request. In the enchanted garden, he found roses blooming as if it were spring. He plucked a single perfect rose. At that moment, the ground trembled, and a fearsome roar echoed through the garden. From the shadows emerged a creature unlike any the merchant had ever seen. He was taller than any man, his body furred like a beast's, with claws, fangs, and eyes that burned like coals. "Thief!" thundered the beast. "I gave you food, warmth, and shelter, and you repay me by stealing my roses?" The merchant fell to his knees in terror. "Forgive me, noble sir," he pleaded. "The rose is for my youngest daughter, Beauty. She wished for nothing else." The beast's voice softened, though it still rumbled like thunder. "If it is for her, then your life may be spared, but on one condition. You must send your daughter to live here in your place. If she refuses, you shall die." The merchant trembled, but the beast allowed him to return home, carrying the rose. As he departed, the great iron gates closed behind him with a sound like the toll of doom. When the merchant returned, he told his daughters everything. The elder sisters shrieked with fear and anger. "You shall not sacrifice us to that monster," they cried. But Beauty, calm as ever, took the rose in her hand and said, "Father, you showed me kindness all my life. Now let me repay it. I shall go to the beast's castle in your place." The merchant wept, begging her not to, but Beauty's heart was steadfast. And so, with her father's blessing, she rode to the enchanted palace. The gates opened at her touch, the halls glowed with candlelight, and the table was set with a feast. Though she was frightened, Beauty felt no harm would come to her. That evening the beast appeared. His massive form filled the room, but his voice, though deep, was strangely gentle. "Do not be afraid," he said. "Here, you will want for nothing. All I ask is that you dine with me each night." Beauty agreed. Though his face was terrible, she saw no cruelty in his eyes. Days turned into weeks. Beauty wandered the palace's endless halls, reading in its grand library, strolling through its magical gardens, and speaking with the beast each evening at supper. Though his appearance was dreadful, she began to see kindness in him. He listened to her stories, gave her books and music, and though he often sat in silence, his eyes softened whenever she laughed. But each night, as their meal ended, the beast asked one question: "Beauty, will you marry me?" And each night, with gentle honesty, she replied, "No, beast, I cannot." His face would fall, yet he never grew angry. He only sighed and said, As you wish. Still, Beauty's heart softened. She began to dream of him, not as a monster, but as a friend. One day, the Beast gave Beauty a magic mirror. Look into this glass and you may see anything you desire, he told her. Longing for her father, Beauty gazed into the mirror and saw him pale and ill in their cottage, her heart filled with sorrow. The Beast watched her silently, then said, Beauty promised, and in a flash she found herself back in her father's arms. He rejoiced to see her, though he was frail and weak. Beauty cared for him tenderly, and he grew stronger with her presence. But her sisters, still jealous, whispered to one another, if she delays her return, the Beast will perish. They begged her to stay, weeping false tears. Beauty, moved by their pleas, lingered beyond the 7th day. Then one night, she dreamed of the Beast lying alone in the garden, dying beneath the rose bush. With a cry, she awoke. Oh, what have I done? Through the magic of the mirror, Beauty returned to the castle. The halls were silent, the gardens overgrown. She ran through the thorns until she found him stretched upon the ground, his eyes closed, his breath faint. She fell beside him, tears streaming down her face. Beast, please do not leave me. I thought you were only my friend, but now I know the truth. I love you. If only you will live, I will be your wife. The Beast's form lifted into the air, spinning with magic. When the light faded, there stood a young prince, handsome and noble, gazing at her with gratitude. Beauty, he said, taking her hand, your love has broken the curse. I was once a selfish man, transformed into a beast for my pride. Only when someone loved me despite my ugliness could I be free. Beauty's heart overflowed with joy. The prince led Beauty into the palace, which now shone brighter than ever. Servants awakened from enchantment, music filled the halls, and flowers bloomed in endless splendor. Soon after, a grand wedding was held. Beauty's father was honored as a guest, and her jealous sisters, humbled, could only watch as Beauty was crowned princess. From that day forward, Beauty and the prince ruled with wisdom and compassion. She, who had asked only for a rose, had found a love more precious than any jewel. And so Beauty and the Beast lived happily ever after.